Hello everyone. So it's Race Blazik again here. So I just want to talk about I watched Demon Slayer Infinity Castle Part 1. I think Part 2's happening next year. I looked it up. It's supposedly happening 2027. Okay. I can accept that. Now from what I searched online, it said 2029 is when Part 3 comes out. Oh boy, who knows? Anyway, so my thoughts on Infinity Castle. Oh boy, I will say I cried. I teared up and cried because of oh, by the way, this is spoilers. So if you haven't seen Demon Slayer, the anime, you should watch it. It's really good. Characters are fun. Great action, great animation, especially the movie. If you're caught up and you haven't watched the movie yet, I suggest you watch the movie. Everyone else, if you're still here and you've watched, you're okay with spoilers or then we're gonna go. So just warning you, spoilers from here on out. So you've been warned. Like I said, I did cry. I teared up at the character, I think it's Shinobu, with what happens to her. I know I said spoilers, but I'm just going to leave it at that. But if you've watched it, you know what happens to Shinobu. That really hurt me. I started crying. I teared up. She was such a good character. And then when I forget the term they use, her apprentice showed up and her eyes were just wide and she's screaming. I was hoping Shinobu's apprentice would have a mark on her face, because the Hashira have those marks that when Tanjiro's nearby, they get the mark and they get superpower. So at least Tomioka, his mark showed up. That was cool. Fighting against Kama or Kama, whatever, the guy who killed the Flame Hashira. I forget his name, but I can recognize his face. Of course, in Demon Slayer fashion, they have to have the demon show his backstory, his or her backstory, and we feel sorry for this character. It's hard for me to feel sorry for him when he was, killing so many people, but then it's kind of understandable why he did what he did. But then he goes on to say in his flashback, I failed you. He's talking about his wife, the woman he loved. I failed you. You died, and I couldn't prevent it from happening. Like, well, how can you prevent that from happening? First of all, you couldn't predict that they were going to poison the well water and kill her. Like, you couldn't predict that. How could you predict that the rival gang or rival dojo is going to come over and wipe your family out or those you love out? How would you know that? I mean, you knew they didn't like you, but you weren't anticipating, they're going to come over and kill everyone that I love or burn everything down. I mean, they didn't burn anything down, but if you were to think to yourself, blame yourself for your wife's passing, it's not your fault. I mean, what are you supposed to do? You can't anticipate everything. You expect to take her with you everywhere you go and make sure she doesn't do anything under your supervision, because that would be paranoia. You'd just be so paranoid. I got to make sure you're with me at all times by my side so nothing bad happens to you. Because if he blames himself, it wasn't, it's my fault you died. I wasn't there to protect you. But like I said earlier, how can you predict that? You can't predict, they're going to poison the well water. If you had told the master that of the property, your girl's father, your father-in-law, don't drink the well water, it could be poisoned. Like, he would probably laugh it off. You're silly, don't be silly. Who would do such a thing? You're paranoid. Anyway, I sit like this, by the way, because of if I sit nice and tall in this chair, Okay, my head comes up. Okay, I thought I'd be cut off. But yeah, you guys can see me. Okay, this is the first. Sometimes I sit in my chair like this, just nice and comfortable, leaning back. Anyway, off topic. Anyway, so with Demon Slayer, yeah, I admit I liked it. And it had that emotional scene, and the animation's great. The panning, and it's yeah, how it's is it rotoscope is what they call it. You go like through here, the shots come in like this, and come out, and the Infinity Castle is really cool. Of course, and then I did not. The crows are cool too. The crows have the little symbols on them, little paper on their forehead with the symbol, Japanese symbol, and they're overseeing everything. And then the master of the place of the Demon Slayer Corps, his three kids who are surviving, they're writing everything down, mapping out the whole place. That's really cool. So when Kibutsuji gets his power back, then he'll probably be able to wipe out those crows, and then they won't have any visual intel. The big thing is they gotta get rid of that woman who has the guitar, stringed instrument, who can easily manipulate the Infinity Castle and change things and rearrange. You got to get rid of her because she's the one who, is controlling all the everything. Well, she's part of it because Kibutsuji, I guess, created that, or maybe she created that Infinity Castle, because she must be a high up demon. So yeah, you definitely got to get rid of her, but it's going to be hard to find her because she can just switch you around and you can never get to her and cut her head off because she can just, string her instrument, and then all of a sudden the floor opens up beneath you. The floor becomes a door, sliding doors, and opens up and you fall in. Excuse me. So you can never get to her. Also, I'm curious about, what was it? Oh, the doctor who stuck her hand into Kibutsuji's stomach, and she is trying to turn him human. Forgive me, I forget her name. I forget her name on top of my head. But yeah, the doctor who's a demon, she's trying to turn Kibutsuji into a human. That's gonna be interesting. How's he gonna get out of this? Seems like he's gonna get out of it. How's she gonna get out of it? I'm afraid she's gonna go on, and her servant's not gonna like that. But then let's see. I can't wait to see the Demon Slayer get their marking, and they'll all be very strong and be able to at least get rid of Kibutsuji or get him out of the Infinity Castle into the sunlight. Or if Nezuko, turns human, because they injected her with that stuff, hopefully she'll become human and stop Kibutsuji's plan. Yeah, looking forward to the second one. I really want Shinobu, her apprentice, to behead that one guy, that one demon with the crazy colorful eyes. What else? Trying to go through to my head again. Everything that had happened. Oh, one thing though with Demon Slayer, I don't like that they show the past, right? The flashbacks. And it's like, why couldn't you have shown that earlier? Like, for instance, with Zenitsu. So Zenitsu, we saw him reading a note in the show, and now in the movie we get why he is more serious now and determined. It's cool he created his own form, by the way. But yeah, it's stupid how they just introduce a character just for the movie and then it's done. Like, you should have introduced him earlier. When you introduced Zenitsu, you could have had a flashback And in the early episodes, episode 4, 5, 6, whatever it was, when we met Zenitsu, you could have shown a flashback of his, not, I mean, they do show a flashback of his training with his uncle, but they could have shown that other mysterious character. And then you're like, oh, who's he? Because they just showed, oh, by the way, you had a second successor, or he had a second successor. So you two were going to be the thunder breathing successors to this guy, to this retired Hashira. But of course, he couldn't do the first form, only Zenitsu could. Anyway, it still seems silly to me they threw this character in, and oh, by the way, he became a demon, and oh, now he's dead. Okay, that's the end of him, so it wasn't a good big payoff. It'd be better if you showed these characters early on. What else? Well, it's the same with no, I mean, well, same with like the demons. Every time they're about to kill a demon, they have to show their flashback on why they became who they were, or who, So it could have been better storytelling if you showed the flashback early on, like with Zenitsu, for instance, if you showed that other character. Oh, another thing that bothers me or is interesting, in the episode where Tanjiro is in the village where those other two demons are, who infiltrate, like the demon who's really scared and you chop his head off and then he multiplies and he can turn really small and then he can be really big, and the other demon who's in a jar. Well, anyway, that whole arc, interesting how they have a dummy. There's that dummy that one of the Mist Hashira guy was using to practice against, and he looked very similar, that model looked very similar to that other demon with the 6 eyes, whatever it is, 6 eyes, and he has the wings out. Doesn't he have wings? I think so. He's like the rank 1 demon, right? Because Kibut, or what's his name? Tanjiro and the other guy, I forget his name. I can see his face. They defeated the 3rd level ranking demon, but the 1st ranking demon, that's that guy with and it kind of looks like the guy with the Hanafune earrings in the past. They always reference the past of Kibutsuji's memories, and he was attacked by some swordsman, and so I'm curious who that could be. I mean, maybe I missed something, because I'll be honest, I did skip one arc of Demon Slayer because it seemed, so I'm going back to check it. But I did see the train arc, and after the train arc, there was something else, and I skipped, and I went straight to the village arc, where he goes to the village to get his new sword, and then he killed the Miss Hashira and the Love Hashira are there. And then, because I did see the movie with the whole train arc, and after I saw the movie, I went to see the episodes that are broken down. And I was like, oh, I'm just watching the same thing. There's some added bits at the beginning, but it's the same thing as the movie. So while I was watching it again, I thought I might miss something. So that's why I skipped that one arc. I thought it would be filler, a bunch of filler episodes, because I don't really care much for filler. Same with like Naruto. Naruto has a lot of filler. Anyway, so getting back to everything, it's just interesting that one demon looks a lot like that test dummy, and also looks a lot like the flashback that Kibutsuji has. Oh yeah, there's the train arc, then there's the um geisha arc where they're in the entertainment district arc, you could say. And then after that is the going to the village to get your new brandish, your new sword arc. So in the geisha arc, that demon who has the brother, sickly brother, and there were two demons together, got to cut their heads off together. That arc, with the wind Hashira, or no, the sound Hashira, that arc. Interesting that when Tanjiro said something, her Muzan Kibutsuji's cells reacted because the demons have Kibutsuji's blood in them, so they have these memories that come back to them. Like Tanjiro has memories that come back to him. So it's interesting. Also, really quick, I will admit, when I was watching Demon Slayer, the TV show or the episodes to lead up to the movie, I was bawling my eyes out. I was like this when they were. Well, I'll be honest, I wasn't bawling my eyes out, but I would tell you, I was bawling my eyes out, bawling, crying my eyes out in the movie, like I said earlier, when what happened to Shinobu. But as for the episodes, I was in shock when what's her name? Oh god, I just lost her name. Tanjiro and I was gonna say Zenitsu. No, his sister, Tanjiro's sister. I can't believe I'm blanking on her name right now. That Zenitsu likes her so much. Nezuko. Oh my god. Anyway, Nezuko. So when Nezuko was burning from the sun in that one episode, and then she pushes her brother Tanjiro off of her, I was thinking, oh no, are you kidding me? They're gonna get rid of Nezuko? I really couldn't believe it. I was thinking, are you kidding me? I was thinking, how is this possible? And then when they showed, oh, it's a fake out, look, the sun doesn't hurt her. That was so rude of them. Because if you think about it, if the sun didn't affect her like that, then why was she burning in the first place? It was just as a storyteller, you did that to, build suspense, pull on your emotional heartstrings, and then, Nezuko kicks him off of her so he can go kill the other demon and save the sword makers when they were running away from that one demon. But then of course it's like, oh look, the big reveal. This is the bigger reveal, is that, oh look, the sun doesn't affect her. Because if the sun's shining on her and she didn't get burned, right? She'd have been no problem staying in the sun. Then that's a big surprise there. You would have questions, but as a viewer, you would be like, whoa, how's this possible? What's going on here? She's not affected by the sun. But then, because the reason why they did that, where she's burning, is of course not just to pull on your emotional strings, but it's to make sure you focus on, the good of the mission, defeat the demon. And then it's like, oh, surprise twist, Nezuko doesn't get affected by the sun. I was like, oh, you dirty rats, you. Like, the writers were playing with my heart, playing with my emotions. But, because, like I said, the big reveal wouldn't be as big of a reveal if, oh, look, the sun is out and Nezuko's okay. And then you'd go, oh, then Tanjiro would be like, oh, I guess you're not affected by the sun. Okay, that's weird, but let me go focus on this demon and kill the demon. Then turn back and ask so many questions. How are you not affected? Anyway, so that's one thing that got me going, like, well, that's shame on those writers for playing with my heartstrings. burning in the sun, when in actuality, nah, it doesn't affect her. So anyway, I'm excited for part 2 of Infinity Castle, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. And let me comment down below. Let me know what you thought of Demon Slayer, the series. Also, let me know if I missed anything. Let me know your thoughts on the movie. Yeah, thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.